My name is Serge Girardi. I'm French and I'm a stylist. I could divide my job in three parts: the editorial, the shows, and the commercials. When I do editorial, I meet the chief editor and we are sharing ideas, and we take a direction, we choose a photographer, we start to do the casting. We are sharing all these different stages of the process, and we have to book the beauty team, and after I start to work on fashion when that's all set. And working on the fashion, it's to get all the clothes, but to follow also the list of the advertisers that give you the magazine. So there is a very creative part, and there is another part, plenty of compromises. Being a fashion director, we have to deal with the stylist, that all the brand we need in the magazine regarding the advertisers can be photographed. So your main job is really to follow that with them and to be sure that it's going to be photographed and it's going to be in that issue. So it's not an easy job, because being stylist yourself, you know how sometimes it's very difficult. But especially for the story, being the fashion director, you will dispatch the brand following the stories, just to try to make it easier for the stylist. But behind that, it's a long process also, because you don't get always the clothes you want. So you have to deal and to tell the story, and following the photographer, it can be more or less easy to shoot some type of clothes. So you have to deal with all those difficulties with them, which is also a difficulty for you, because at the end of the work, or at the end of the process for the magazine, you definitely need to shoot all the advertisers. This is a big job. I started styling 30 years ago. Before that, I was working at Comme des Garçons. After a trip in Japan, I started working with them. And at that time, it was fantastic school, because no better way to learn fashion in late 80s. It's still one of the bolder fashion approach in the business. After that, I decided to become a stylist. This is very personal, but this is certainly the three stories we have done with the photographer Eric Nair about Egon Schiele's painting. It's very, very inspiring. I love that painter. And I don't know why, but I find it very linked to fashion. It's always so beautiful. And we did three different stories. For the first time was 10 years ago for the Teen magazine. The second one for an English magazine called Under the Influence, 5 years ago. And the last one, I did it 1 year ago. So it was very interesting to work in different periods, with fashion quite different, with models quite different, also using a different approach of makeup. And but the repetition of it make it really special for me. It was really a very nice project. And there is nothing more exciting than to be on the same page with a photographer, to share all that time of the preparation and the shooting. It's really a fantastic human experience. For me, the most important is to develop your sense of curiosity. To see any kind of exhibition, painting, movie, sculpture, whatever. Everything can be interesting and can feed you and enrich your own world. This is really the base. Of course, there is the fashion history, the thing you need to learn, the costume history also, because this is the base. But to do your fashion stories, you need to build your own style. And for that, you're going to need plenty of references. And this is your food, really. You have to nourish your mind with all those informations. And after, you're gonna come easily. And for sometimes, most of the time, you forgot that you have seen that, or that something you're gonna use in a very natural way. But in fact, you will realize after that that's something you've seen in a movie. So this thing to build your own creativity, your own style, is really part of what you're gonna look at. When I grow old, man, teaching maybe. To learn fashion and costume history, it's essential, but it's imperative to have other interests. That job market is pretty hard, and you're gonna have to be humble and ready to do plenty of compromises. So you have to be strong. It's super interesting because it's a chance to have a creative job. And if you get the chance to build a good relationship with a few photographers, because this is the key to make a team. And because as I was saying, when you are on the same page with a photographer, you are able to build good stories and to blossom. Now, this is the huge difference, because the fashion designer is creating the clothing. We're gonna work on the collection and work on the show, and the fashion stylist, maybe if he's lucky, gonna work with him, but mainly he's gonna work with the clothes for editorial. So it's a way to set the clothes in a photo shoot. So you use the clothing as a material to tell your story. The designer is really creating looks. In a way, now since a few years, I have to say that you see a lot on the shows, clothing inspired from vintage, and where the styling on shows makes most of it. So you can say that since a few years, there is the styling who is really associated to the design. The press, of course, it's obvious, but also the commercial, because even to sell a car, you're going to need a model, sometimes plenty, and they have to get dressed, they have to wear something. So, of course, the stylist will do that job. And this is that can be a heavy job, by the way, because you have to answer to different requests. It's a different world. So it's more like dressing character for a movie, for example. It's great to work in fashion, to work as a stylist, to work with creative teams. It's really a chance, and it will enrich you. It could make you really happy. sometimes not, but you won't remember. And really, it's why it's one of the best jobs in the world.